I decided I'm going to reinforce some blogger stereotypes today, so I woke up with bedhead and I'm just going to embrace it. Today, though, we are talking about 5 blogger types that will totally fail. I have been doing a whole bunch of niche site consultations for those of you who have purchased Niche Site School. And thank you, by the way. I'm so exciting to see so many blogs taken off and getting going on the right foot. But a couple people asked, like, what are some things you can do to make sure your site is successful? Like, what have we seen that works well for people and what doesn't? And so let's talk about them. This is number 1. I was researching and I found another blog is already doing the same thing as me. And when I see this in an email, I think, oh no. It's totally understandable if it's your first website. But what usually is behind this when I see this in an email is somebody is lacking confidence in their ability to beat somebody else, to make a website that's better and really go after something. And that really can hold you back as a blogger, because there is no good niche that does not have any website on it or any content on it. Some are more competitive than others, but every niche has competition. Just a couple weeks ago, Ricky and I bought dirtbikeplanet.com. It used to be called Dirt Bike Tips and Picks, and we changed it to Dirt Bike Planet. Not at all the very first dirt biking website out there. There are lots of other blogs, but we felt like the competition was something we could very easily take on. Very low competition in that niche. And so we're going after it. And, you know, I have a website in the photography space. Yeah, it's a lot more competitive. You know, if you're in photography, fitness, personal finance, the recipes, those are very difficult niches to break into today. If you started several years ago, you're probably fine, but starting those today, not something I would probably do, because they are very competitive. But just going out and seeing another website that has the same content, same type of content as you, same kind of thing that they're going for, is just not a big deal at all. There are millions of websites across the internet, and yours is going to do things a little bit different. You're going to write on some keywords that they won't find. You're going to do things that they won't do, have products that they won't have, and you're a smart person. You can do this. So don't be afraid if you find it. Number 2, I actually have another idea for a site that I'm working on. This is the one that most concerns me when somebody says that, you know, they send about their niche, they get started, they work in, and it's fine to have tons of ideas that start, it's fine. But once you decide on your niche, you got to follow it through to the end. So many times, you know, 2-3 weeks into Niche Site School, it's a 60-day program to build your blog. You know, 2 or 3 weeks in, somebody says, I'm not so sure. I actually thought of another one, and so I think I might actually pivot to that. And I always send them the same email. I say, hey, you know, you can do that, but after years of working with people on their blogs, I can say that if you do this, your site is going to fail. You can only work on one site at a time when it's in that infant stage. Right now, I'm working on dirtbikeplanet.com. That's what I'm working on. Now, I have lots of other websites that I've already built to success, and so I need to maintain those and do projects on those as well. But one new site at a time until it's successful. Once it's successful, you start another. That's one benefit that Ricky and I have, that I can be working on one site and he can be working on another. Right now, Ricky is just barely getting started on cabinfreedom.com, and I'm working on dirtbikeplanet.com. And we're going to work on those sites until they're successful, and then we can go do the next thing. Oh, and so if that's you, if this is you, I'm pleading with you, go into your Bluehost account right now and delete them, every site except your one site that you're working to build up. Once that site is successful and has an income, fine. Go start another passive income source, great. I collect them like Pokemon cards. But until your website is successful, one site at a time. All right, here's the next one. I want my site to be like a community for I wouldn't do this. And I wouldn't do this. And the reason I wouldn't do this is because social media is absolutely killing the blogging industry. And if you waste your time on it, I promise it's going to hold your website back, sometimes years. Evidence of this is improved photography, and I'm really grateful for the social media following and everything that improved photography has become. I'm proud of it. I'm glad for it. But I started that website 8 years ago. And so if I were starting it today, I would do it very, very differently. You know, we have over 1 million people that follow me on social media for photography. It's incredible. I'm really grateful for that. But guess what percentage of the traffic to improve photography comes from Facebook? Less than 2%. Less than 2% of the traffic. And so if I spend 50% of my day going on there commenting on things and linking to things and stuff, I'm working 50% of my time on 2% of the traffic. And so I'm ignoring most of the people who are going there to the website. So what I would suggest today, do not build a community, not with a niche site. If you're trying to build a community, it is not by definition a niche site, or a passive site at least. This is an active site that you're building. And that's not what we want to do. We want to build passive income. There's nothing wrong with an authority site. I think it has its place. But what we're talking about, what Niche Site School is about, is a passive niche website. So don't start a Facebook page, don't start a Twitter, etc. The only ones that I think could be worth your time are YouTube and Pinterest. Those could be worth your time, and they do send good traffic and sales to a website. All right, I'm just not sure enough people are interested in... this is one we've been getting a lot of questions on since we did our video on the keyword tools video. How we don't use any keyword tools other than just plain old Google. But another that I found is kind of cool is called answerthepublic.com. You can go there and I just type dirt bike and it gives me a whole bunch of questions that people have asked about dirt bike. And so that can help me find ideas to do further research on. But the problem here is trying to estimate search volume. None of the tools do this accurately or even close to accurately. And so what we found is somebody's using a keyword research tool and they say, no, I don't know how I even did that. They search, why do you wear knee pads in dirt biking? And they say, oh, this only has, 5 searches a month that people do. And so they don't write the article and they miss a really good opportunity. Or the opposite, they say, oh, this keyword looks awesome, and it brings nothing. What I found works best is just use your intuition. If it seems like a reasonable query, a reasonable question that somebody's asking, then go ahead and write the article. Let's say that article only brings 500 people a month or 100 people a month to your website. It's kind of a small article. Only 100 people a month are going to click on this, even if you're number one on Google. Well, if it brings 100 people a month for 5 years, that's 6,000 people that came to your website for 40 minutes of work. 6,000 people came in the door and have the potential of earning you money now. That's awesome. So definitely write this. Don't worry about the search volume. If it seems like a reasonable query that somebody would Google this, write it. All right. I've written 7 product reviews this week. This is somebody that's overeager to suck out money from the website. And so they write tons of product reviews. They have tons of links to Amazon everywhere, just littering this website with Amazon links. And if you do that, it just feels spammy to people that come to your website. They won't trust what you're saying, and it won't feel like valuable content, so they're going to bounce, and they're going to go back to Google, which is a sign to Google that this wasn't great quality content. It looks very spammy to Google when you have that many links. And so we like to have a balance. 1/3 of your posts are just answering people's questions that they have on the web. 1/3 are kind of the shareable, big pillar content, like how to ride a dirt bike. And I write this 4,000 word post about like how the clutch works, whether to use the handbrake or the foot brake, and what pads you need, and like how to get into dirt biking. This is like a big pillar post. Or something very shareable like 21 best tips for going faster at the dirt bike track. So pillar posts, and then only a third of the content should really be earning the money. This is like 15 things you're going to need to buy after getting your first dirt bike. You're going to need to buy all these pads. You're going to need to buy a spark arrestor or whatever else you're going to need to get. And so those are posts that really are targeted toward earning money from people and sending them to Amazon so I can get my commission. And usually what I'll do is in those 2/3 that are the big pillar posts and just answering people's tiny questions, I'll link to those other articles. So bring them in the door, just answering a question, and then I'll mention these are my favorite dirt biking products. They go to that post, they find value, they go to Amazon, and I get a commission from that. That's it. Those are the 5 blogger types that I believe will really hold you back and keep your website from succeeding. If you're ready to get started with your website, go check out Niche Site School on incomeschool.com. It's a 60-day program where we walk you step by step exactly what we do to build our niche sites and build them into successful passive income streams. Thanks everybody for your support, and we'll see you on Niche Site School.